Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We get asked all the time from y'all in the comment section if we use deer scents, and most of us don't, but Jake has been experimenting with deer scents the last few years, and he's been using this EverCalm stuff, and we've had some kind of interesting results with it. And Jake actually uses some of that EverCalm on this particular hunt in this video. So be sure to watch the whole video all the way to the end, because the really interesting stuff happens right at the end of the video. But thanks for watching, let's get to it.
What's up, everybody? Sitting in an Aldi's parking lot. Nick and I are headed out west, but just wanted to remind you we got the 500,000 subscriber giveaway going on still on the website, and that's going on until the end of October. I'll put a link in the description below that you can click on to enter, and every $25 you spend on the website is an additional entry, and you can use the code Jake to save 10% on your purchase. Now, let's get to the video. Pigs, if you're into that. Kind of makes you want to throw up. You can see a dew claw there. Fresh too. Like this morning, looking kind of moist in there still. Yep. I'm worried we're about to spook them here soon, but it's like nothing. Yeah, I don't know how far we really need to go. I'd like to be. I feel like a deer might get up and move 300 yards tonight, but I'd like to be 300 yards from the end, because I think that's where he might be. You know? Yeah. He could just be bedded somewhere right in here, but it's like, I guess I feel more confident that he'd be at the end of it. Seems like he's kind of just cooking right through here. I mean, there's not a ton of sign, but obviously they're traveling through here. But I mean, not a ton of buck sign, I guess.
This is just like steep bank right here, too. Trail going out to those points.
You know, bed down that bottom, come up to that ridge, and you know, feet. And then just hammering up to those fields and green boy. This morning.
One that we just followed back.
Yeah, seems like it. Good chance it's one of those ones that's on the camera. Keith and I are pretty fired up right now. Like that's some hot sign. After last night, I don't want to say anything because I was telling Keith last night I had such a good feeling. I mean, we literally didn't see a deer, but that's some hot, fresh sign that seems like it's pretty big. And I hung a camera on the road the other day and had a picture of one guy driving down in here. And he left right away, and then in the middle of the night there was two really big bucks. I just left the camera there for one night just because I figured it'd get stolen if I left it there much longer. It was a pretty obvious spot, and I just put it there that afternoon, came back the next morning and grabbed it, but learned what we needed. There's for sure at least two big bucks back in here because I was just there for one night, but I'd imagine there's a good handful of them just knowing the area. And I've been waiting for the wind to just be more right to get a little more aggressive. We got this front moving in today. It's been south winds for a week now, east-southeast winds for a week, and we started following back in here and got on some real good buck sign. Fresh tracks that were really big, like there was no other deer leaving prints in the ground, but there's one that, you know, you could tell it was still moist from this morning, it seemed like, or sometime during the night last night. These fresh rubs here, there's some really big rubs from about a week or so ago, or maybe more, but and then the trail that we followed, it seems like there's a good number of deer, so everything's all churned up. That trail's been getting used a lot. It's been acorns dropping for a few weeks back in there, and they're still dropping really heavy, so imagine they're good and comfortable back in there. That's going to be the battle. It's like I feel really confident there's a buck in there. I just don't know where he's going to be. It's like we want to push far enough where he's going to obviously get up and move past us in the daylight, but we don't want to run him over, so the wind's going to straighten out a little more as the day goes on, and we're going to just get our stuff to get in a tree if we want to, and then come back in there, check a few other spots in the meantime, but I'd imagine that's probably where we're going to end up tonight at this point. And these seem like the hammer trees right here. Might as well just set up, huh? Yeah. Eventually I get down from setting up our saddles and grab my bow just in case the buck shows up. We watch the doe feed around the same trees for about an hour.
She's trying to trot off to the right there. I think she went pretty far. Oh yeah, she's coming at us, looking right at us. See her? She's at like 60 now. Moving left. She doesn't really like us right now. Jump up in the tree. I think we screwed up to where she was feeding more. Just do it right here. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that too. Go up there a little bit. Good, yeah. Might as well have much up. I mean, if the buck's gonna feed that slow, we want to be up as far as right on that spot. Yeah. That doe was just feeding real slow underneath these trees that we're set up under right now. Not set up under them. We're set up above. There's another hunter on the way in. We kind of just told him where we plan on going. He said go ahead, so thanks, dude. Earlier today we stopped like 100 yards back just because we wanted to have our stuff to set up. And just as we pushed past that, we spooked a couple deer right off this ridge up here. I'm assuming if the buck's bedded back here, I'm hoping he's down this bottom, so I'm hoping those are just does up on this ridge. And then a different doe came feeding up towards us, and she just kind of had us pinned for quite a while there. We were starting to set up the sticks back a little further, and eventually she got us, so we just moved up to the tree that she fed under for the longest, or some of these trees right here. So it's kind of similar to when Logan and I killed it about a couple years ago around the same time frame. We got in there a little late, but figured out where all the does were, and we just set up like the first available spot, and it's windy enough, and she only blew a couple times. Like if something's bedded down there, I'm still pretty optimistic. It's not ideal that she blew like that, but she could have blown more.
Oh yeah, she came closer to us too. There's obviously a bunch of acorns down there because she did not move the step for 30 minutes there probably. I feel good about it. This is the freshest buck sign we've been on by far, or I've been on. And it seems like it's some pretty big stuff too, so got a lot of time yet. About an hour before dark, we heard a deer coming up the ridge, close to where we were originally setting up in the saddles, and eventually we heard several deep chesty blows and heard a heavy deer take off. Keith caught a glimpse of it, and we both assumed it was the buck that we had followed the sign from back into the spot. But the most interesting thing happened after we got down after the hunt. We brought a cell camera with the hang up and decided to put it up on a big signpost rub that had recently been worked. And just after we hung the camera and started walking, we caught a glimpse of a deer on the way out with our headlamps. This was the same direction the buck had went that we spooked after he blew at us, so we thought it could be him. We walked the rest of the way back to the car, and by the time we got back, I checked my phone and turned to Keith and said, "You want to see something crazy?" The buck was there working the rub just 10 minutes after we had been there. We get quite a few questions about if we use scent, and most of the guys in the group don't, but I've been using a variety of them for a pretty long time just to start mock scrapes. And although I don't think that they're necessary, and I usually just pee in the scrape myself, I'll usually use a little bit of deer scent as well, just because I think it might make the deer feel a little more comfortable. I know that they're going to smell the human scent just from me touching a bunch of stuff while I'm hanging up the camera, but if there's a little deer scent there, they might not jump out of their shoes and just take off, which seems to be the case here because the buck appears to be working the rub 10 minutes after we were there. Let us know in the comments if you guys use deer scent and if you've had any luck with it or not, and we'll see you on the next one.